Now, the bandwagon, as they say, was getting heavy. Everyone started to jump on the bandwagon again.
Portland is not in a position to try to come back, and he should just kind of leave that alone.
Stop being satisfied with mediocre performances.
I don't like it. Plain and simple, I really don't like it. An all-star game just shows how much they just kind of continue to placate the players and their lackadaisical efforts on the court.
You really sparked my interest, and I'm sure that of many others. Alistair Albert, thank you very much.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of Baseline to Baseline with Alistair and Orain. This is episode 13, and I'd like to welcome, as usual, Orain Buchanan and myself, of course, Alistair Albert, host of this show. We've had a really interesting couple of weeks as usual. We had the trade deadline conversation last week, which was really interesting. Giannis Antetokounmpo did moving, and now we're moving on into the All-Star break of the season. We're now on Sunday, All-Star game, Sunday game day itself. And of course, after the All-Star break, this is when everyone is going to start going hard, to try to get their playoff positioning sorted out and everything. And guys, I think talking about wanting to bring a different energy this year to the All-Star game, but that's left to be seen. But we'll come on to the All-Star conversation in a little bit. But what we want to really start off with the discussion today is a conversation about loyalty. And loyalty always comes up, as a conversation in the off season, usually when, there's lots of trades and things happening, guys moving around and everything. But the culprit or the protagonist of this conversation this time around is James Harden. He had an interview or press conference after one of the games where he spoke about loyalty being overrated. And we're going to play this clip here for you right now, just to kind of get, just to understand what the framing of what we're going to what we're going to discuss.
The whole quote unquote loyalty thing I think it's overrated. I think this is a business at the end of the day, and it's a lot of money involved and a lot of decisions that has to be made. You know what I mean? So, like if a player isn't producing, or if you don't see him in the future, or front office, some of them have to do like a job and want to keep their job. So they gotta feel like they gotta do what's best for to keep their job, and they trade players. Or if a guy isn't happy and he wants to be traded to somewhere else, then it's a problem. It's just so many different dynamics that go into it. This is a business at the end of the day. So, like, not even just the NBA, but like people that have normal jobs have those same problems. It's just not magnified. You know what I mean? So.
All right, so Orain, so we just listened to what James Harden had to say here. What do you think about what he said about that there? Do you think that loyalty is overrated in competitive sport, especially in the NBA? I know, of course, this takes on quite a lot of different levels when you speak about just socially with family and work, people not in competitive sport. But does he have a point? Is loyalty overrated in the NBA?
I think it is. Let me just start there. I think it really is. If you really look at the whole makeup of the NBA, I mean, what do you want your legacy to be after you finish play the game of NBA?
Championship.
Charles Barkley, for one, whenever he gets into an argument or it's a heated discussion with anyone, what's the first thing they say?
Mm-hmm.
You're without a ring, so you don't know what you're speaking about. Is Charles Barkley a bum? Was he a role player? No, he wasn't. Charles Barkley was a superstar during his time on the court. And because he ended his career ringless, people act as if he didn't do what he did on the court. Reggie Miller, next thing, loyalty, one front. In the end, all those guys have his money. And doing the research coming for this program, I was doing some deep dive, and I said, who better to talk about loyalty and what it brings after you have ended your career than Elgin Baylor?
Okay.
LA Lakers. Elgin Baylor name almost never comes up. Dean Baylor during this time was at 27.4 points per game player, 4.3 assists. 27 points per game. Now, if we're going to take that into the modern day NBA, that's flirting with numbers like Giannis, Nikola, Jokic, that's Doncic, and we all know what those guys bring to the team.
And that's Elgin Baylor playing next to another dominant guard in Jerry West as well in the 60s and 70s. So that's a guy who put up points with another dominant superstar on his team.
Thank you very much. Elgin was an 11-time All-Star, NBA Rookie of the Year in 1959, alongside with Bob Pettit.
Wow.
The All-Star Game co-MVP in 1959. So that was his rookie year. He was the co-All-Star of the NBA All-Star Game.
Right.
His jersey is retired by the LA Lakers, and also his number 22 jersey is retired by University of Seattle Red Hawks.
Okay.
Guy was a bona fide superstar.
Absolutely.
But what? He was loyal to the LA Lakers, the most storied franchise in the NBA, and he ended his career ringless. Most points in an NBA Finals game, 61 points in 1962. That was Game 5 against the Boston Celtics. Jim Baylor did what he had to do, but what? He was loyal during the wrong years for me. He could have gone elsewhere, but he decided to stop with the LA Lakers. And when you're speaking about legends of the game, of the LA Lakers now, his name almost never gets mentioned because what? Ringless. And we could go on and on. Your John Stockton, your Karl Malone, your Patrick Ewing, all these guys. And no one more than in the modern day than Damian Lillard. Very, very loyal to the Portland Trail
Blazers. That's it.
Damian Lillard is running the risk, in my eyes, of ending his career without an NBA championship. Now, we could argue this for the entire episode. But what is it that you want? I mean, your guys are comfortable with making tons of money, millions of dollars. And that's not to take care of their children, they want to take care of their family, and they're cool with that. They're not chasing any rings and whatever. But if you plan to have a life after your career has finished on the court, I think having that stacked on your resume is a huge plus, because the first thing guys and analysts and armchair pundits will bring up is that you did NBA championship. And I mean, we have a thing called recency bias, right? After the person's career has ended, we forget totally what they did on the court, and we almost immediately run to the stats and say, okay, this guy didn't win a ring, so he wasn't good. This guy didn't do that, so it wasn't good. And we forget what they did on the court. And I think that James Harden, at this stage of his career, I mean, he has money. He has money, as they will say in Jamaica, to stone dogs. He has money for generation. Money is not, but what he wants is a chip. And this guy is no bum.
Not at all.
2018, 3-time scoring champion, NBA Sixth Man of the Year, 2-time assist leader. He has everything on his resume except that NBA championship. And he has decided to take his talents to the Cleveland Cavaliers in pursuit of a championship. I have no problem with that. And in closing, to bring you back on Alistair, always a problem when the players decide that they are not going the loyalty route. It's never a problem when it's all is solely in the court of the owners, the coach. You think if an NBA commission, not the NBA commissioner, an NBA owner has a player, say player X, on a 2-year, $30 million contract, he can get a player of a similar style, of a similar portfolio, for 2 years, $25 million. You think he's not going to trade that 2-year $30 million for 2-year $25? With a heart, he'll do it. We know the NBA. We've seen guys get traded on the bench.
On the bench. Harrison Barnes. Yep.
On the bench. And it's not loyalty. I mean, I'm here to do a job. You pay me to do. My time comes, I leave, no problem. It's always a problem when the NBA players decide that they're not going to loyalty route. I think it's unfair. Tell me which team has James Harden played for, barring the Brooklyn Nets, because they only played 23 games, I think, if memory serves me right,
Yeah.
with and Kyrie Irving. So
Mhm.
barring the Brooklyn, which team has James Harden played for that he hasn't produced?
We're gonna come to that. Yep. None. Harden has been the missing piece. I'll let you make your last point, but yeah, he's always been considered the missing piece for competitive teams, and he's been traded for as that. So showing some level of value for what it is. But I'll let you finish off your point, and I'll jump in.
Yeah, I was just saying James Harden has done everything.
Mhm.
There's a franchise. I mean, the only problem that people have with James Harden is that when he wants out, if he
Mhm.
doesn't get it same time, there's a problem.
Things go wrong. Yeah.
Keep on saying, I mean, it's probably become a scratch record. No, the
Hmm.
lonely a man can be is to be somewhere where he's not wanted. Why would I stay at a franchise that doesn't want me anymore?
Hmm.
You're going to restrict my minutes. The ball is going to be out of my hands,
Hmm.
and then that will decrease my trade value when the trade markets comes around.
Hmm. Hmm.
Probably James Harden wants to have sole control over his career and not have any NBA owner or any leaders per se of a franchise to have his career in his hands.
Hmm. Hmm.
He's just doing what he thinks is in his best
What
interest
is
and
that?
at problem with what he's doing.
Nah, you raised some very good points there and everything, and it's interesting because we're coming off like Valentine's weekend, in the All-Star break, and the only reason why I mentioned that is there was a conversation last week. I think it was Thursday or Friday on First Take or one of the shows, one of the ESPN shows, and I think it was Russell Wilson who has been spoken to at a press conference. I think it was for the Super Bowl or just after the Super Bowl or just before. I can't remember what the timeline is, but he was asked which ring is the most valuable, your Super Bowl ring or your wedding ring? And he looked at the he looked at the reporter and he said, I reserved the right to hold my comments. He didn't want to make a statement about which one is more important. And then when we got to the commenter who was talking about the clip, he's like, it's obviously the Super Bowl ring. You could get a wedding ring anyway, or any other time. You could marry someone else and get another wedding ring. The Super Bowl ring, if you don't have it, you don't have it. And the point leading to what you're saying is, if you don't have a championship ring, then your legacy as a sports star is completely diminished, no matter how well you've done. Coming to your point about Charles Barkley and everything, when we come to what James Harden is saying, this is a guy, and again, to kind of just bolster your points, everywhere he goes, he's been seen as a missing piece. He has played 70 games on average per season, so he's available. He had that little stretch with the Brooklyn Nets where he was injured, and like you said, they only played 23 games together and everything, averaging over 24 points per game, 11-time All-Star, eight all-time, eight all NBA selections, three-time scoring champ, everything that you mentioned, top 75 player, etc., etc. And he has produced. You could never fault James Harden in the regular season for never producing, and he's done that all the time. But he makes the points, yeah, like if a player is not producing, and especially front office staff not wanting to keep their jobs and do what is right for the franchise, they will trade that player. He's not wrong. He is not wrong. We have this situation there, which is really funny, where Sam Presti, I think in the back, OKC GM, OKC Thunder GM is pressuring the league to get the Utah Jazz not to tank. And there's people coming out and be like, dude, are you even aware of why you're talking? You were the OKC Thunder tanking games. You had all Al Horford on your team. You sent him home so you could lose games to get a higher pick. That season, I can't remember what season it was, but yeah, Al Horford was traded there for one season, went back. And yeah, you sent him home because you wanted to tank, because you're trying to save your job, acquire more picks and everything. Players are just chess pieces for you guys, right? So when James Harden says it, the thing about it is with him, it's one of those things where you shoot the messenger, rather than the message, because he's done so much and you could see him force his way out of situations when it hasn't played out for him. And that is what's probably hurt him in saying that. But the point he's making is absolutely true. And like the players like to say, in your job, if you're in a situation where your manager ain't treating you right, you ain't getting the respect that you deserve, you're bringing, quite a lot of production for your team and you're not getting recognized, you will move. You will do those things because you want to secure your satisfaction in your job. These players, as athletes, that's their job. And if they do decide to want to move, it is within their right to do that. And the teams will do the same thing. You don't produce, it's a bottom line industry. If you can produce, we're going to ship you out because we want to try to get the younger, stronger player to kind of replace you. So it is what it is. And I think he's right. Loyalty is overrated in sports because I think fans really want that because, they support a team and they want to know these players, they are there for a long time, for the long haul, for the purposes of bringing a championship to that team. And when they leave, it's devastating. So we get why that might be. But,
And
it is one of those things.
just to raise this point, Alistair,
Hmm.
we saw Isaiah Thomas, right? IT.
Hmm.
He, he struggled with injuries. He was loyal,
Yeah.
right? They told him that he was okay. Everything was good.
Yep.
He started playing for the Boston Celtics. He re-aggravated that hip injury, right?
Yes.
What did the Boston Celtics do after they told him that he was ready to come back to the league? He was traded after because what? Lack of productivity. So I can get a different point guard. I can get a new point guard that can give me more than you are giving me now. So you're no longer ready to stay on the books. No longer available for us again. So they traded him. That's the whole NBA goes. But as I said, it's always a problem when the players take matters into their own hands. It's never a problem when the owners decided that they're going to do things the other way.
And of course, these owners are listening to, fans because for them, the fans are the ones bringing in the revenue. And when the fans start to get aggravated, they try to take notice of it, and that's what ends up happening. And yeah, it's funny how these things always play out. And like he said, in his talk, championships or being able to compete for championships are the most important thing for him. And being in situations where he feels happy and he could kind of provide financially for his family, these are the two things he really worries about when he moves over to a new team. And I don't think the Clippers didn't want him, to come to a point you made initially about him potentially not being wanted. He wanted an extension on his contract, and they were not willing to give it to him, and that's probably precipitated the need for wanting to leave. But the point still remains. I've done all of this for you. Show me some loyalty back. I've turned this team around. I've helped kind of bring you guys to a place of stability with Kawhi being in and out of the lineup. I'm from this area. Show me some loyalty. And you're not able to do that. Okay, I'm gonna leave. He had the same issue with Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey, I think, was trying to give him an extension with the Philadelphia Sixers, or he was looking for an extension. Daryl Morey told him one thing. It didn't play out. He called him a liar. In an interview in China, and then he left. So James Harden has made it very well. He's going to be empowered to make that sort of play. And as a top 75 player, a player who's 11th all time in scoring, having the career that he has, even if he's not a champion, I think he feels comfortable in making those moves because he knows his place in history and he wants to continue to add on to that, wherever he might be. So yeah, loyalty is overrated. I totally agree with him in that regard. But I think it's one of those shoot the messenger rather than the message, because the message is right. I think he is probably a problematic figure in talking about it, but I don't think he's wrong in saying that. So that's our first topic for today. That was really good. Yeah, there's quite a lot of things you could speak about where that's concerned. And we'll see how the season moves on for him, because yeah, the Cavs are in a position now where hopefully he could do some damage for them in the postseason, and let's see how that kind of goes on. On to the second topic though. when you speak about competition and getting teams ready for being competitive, and I mentioned the GM from that team, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Of course, they've been on a really lovely rise from about 2-3 seasons ago. Coming from out of the playoffs to Chris Paul being on that team, they jumping into the playoffs, being competitive, championship last year, and they're on the road to being just as competitive again. First in the West at the moment, and doing their thing. Although they've had some injuries this year, which could cost them. But LeBron James, after a game, I think it was last week Monday when they played the Oklahoma City Thunder, he was asked by a reporter, what do you see about the OKC Thunder and where you guys are as the Lakers? And he was like, well, that's a championship, right? Championship team right there. We are not that. Do not compare us in that sort of way. They could, his words exactly. That's a championship team right there. We're not. We can't sustain energy and effort for 48 minutes, and they can. That's the reason that they won the championship. LeBron, is he looking for excuses there? Is he kind of leaning on being a 41-year-old and trying to say that, you can't depend on me to bring that energy and expect our team to win? Or is he just plainly right? Is he just calling it as he sees it? Is this team not what he's supposed to be? And what do you think about what he said?
No, I mean LeBron James is at liberty to speak on every subject, any subject,
Mm,
and he has all right to do so because even at 41 years old, he's the second best player on the Lakers team.
yep.
I think he's the second best player on the Lakers team. So LeBron
Hmm.
is perfectly right in what he said. Lakers are not championship pedigree; they have championship DNA. Other than LeBron James, who shot a player on the LA Lakers team, knows what it takes to win a championship.
Yep.
So he's at liberty to speak. The Lakers on this day in sports is not a championship team. I think the Lakers would be probably a second round team
Right.
at best.
Hmm.
And the OKC Thunder are just better than him. I mean, he said it. LeBron James has seen every almost everything that an NBA team can throw at him. He knows his way around the league, so he knows what it takes to win championships. He knows which team he has in his vision that will give him problem. I mean, this is a LeBron James that had to go through the Boston Celtics in his early days at Cleveland. Yeah, at
Hmm.
Indiana when Paul George was Paul George. Yeah, a
Hmm.
Golden State Warriors team with Kevin Durant, even before Kevin Durant. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond, that Golden State Warriors, and then the Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant. So LeBron James knows what it takes to face championship teams.
Yep.
So he's perfectly right, and he's right in everything that he said about the OKC Thunder. He knows the roster that the LA Lakers has.
Yep.
He knows their weaknesses, and I don't think you can win an NBA title without a proper center. I mean, the game has changed somewhat, but I think when it comes down to playoffs basketball, facing one team over the stretch of 7 games, seeing them night in, night out, you need that dominant rim protector. The LA Lakers, they're without it. I mean, DeAndre Ayton does every single thing on a basketball court except grab rebounds for a center.
It's true. Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then you have these. Uh, listen, Jackson Hayes, what he did at the All Star weekend on Saturday night in that dunk contest, his ego will take a bruising for the next 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
That not in the dunk contest, he should have never gone. And he's the LA Lakers backup center.
Yep.
But LeBron James knows what the roster that he has, and he's just doing enough to see how far this team can go. So he's right. I mean, the Lakers are not championship pedigree at this moment, and he knows the teams in the West that are the problem.
Mhm.
Can the Lakers beat the OKC Thunder now? Hell no.
Oh no, not at all. Not at all. Yeah, I could imagine Jackson Hayes going and do what he did at the dunk contest, and then being on a fast break layup, fast break, open dunk, and then trying to make a decisions as to what he does in game now after that All-Star break. You just like keep it simple, or should I do something because I messed up in the All-Star? And he's gonna be in a situation in
One
situation before.
one known player on their roster, the LA Lakers right now. would struggle against the San Antonio Spurs in
Oh
a
yeah,
7 game.
yes. Absolutely, absolutely. And when you speak about, him just saying being able to sustain energy, there's two things there. There's, lack of personnel of guys who could do it, or, because there's a little bit of a question about that because you have guys like Jared Vanderbilt there. You brought in Marcus Smart, guys to try to help out with defense, and JJ Redick has not really been using them as much, for those purposes, not getting as many minutes. But I think in the last couple of games before the All-Star break, when Jared Vanderbilt was put back into the lineup, the team started to play a little better defensively, where that's concerned, and they won a couple of games. But when you think about sustaining energy and effort, as he says, obviously you have the one of the leaders of your team who's 41 years old. He's kind of pacing himself and taking plays off here and there because what can you expect him to do at 41 years old, being able. I've watched the highlights of LeBron play, and me being 40 years old myself, I know how my body reacts to playing and taking some power steps to the zone and everything, thinking your hamstring is going to go and everything, and he is not that. This is a guy who, as has been documented for years, such good care of his body to be able to make the moves that he plays, high intensity, high pace games that he does, and still be able to do it. So power to him for doing that. But is this a situation where he's calling out the team for maybe some of the things that have been said in the media recently? GD Bus kind of saying things about his power and influence on the team and whatever it is. But I think if we just take his words at face value, he's not wrong. He is absolutely not wrong. The team is not where it needs to be. He's not championship contending. They are fifth in the West right now and could actually go to get up to the third because they're not too far from Denver record wise and everything. So they're actually still a really competitive team as is. With Austin Reeves even not playing as many games as they have. You want to say something?
Similar to what Anthony Edwards said the other night when they asked him about, do you think that it's like guys will give more effort or it is what it is when it comes to the All-Star game? And he said it the perfect way. He said, at this point it is, but the players are not up, they're not G'd up to play in the All-Star game, and that's just it. I mean, what can you do now to really get players excited about participating in the All-Star weekend?
But we'll come to that. We'll come to that because that's the next topic. Just hold on to that. We're coming to that in a second. But to just kind of end off that Lakers point, I think you are absolutely right to bring that up because that is all in the same conversation. So we're going to come to that in a little bit. But just to kind of end the Lakers bits off, I think they whatever they do for this weekend. The few days that they have off before they start playing games again next Thursday, I think they need to kind of take that step back, think about what they want this season to be. They traded for Luka now to try to help with their outside shooting and everything. And the funny thing is, when they made that trade, you think of the word canard. Luke Kennard is brought in to help with their shooting. If you think of the word canard itself, it's a French word for the word duck, and the Lakers are in a lame duck season because after this season, they're gonna make some changes. You can't, like you said, the ceiling is the second round, and you can't expect anything for them. So this is a lame duck season, and when once it's done, we know that there are going to be some massive changes coming aboard. And I think they just need to try to put their best foot forward. Give the Lakers a chance to enjoy LeBron, because this probably is going to be his last time there, and see what happens. But LeBron was not wrong in kind of calling out what it is. Again, maybe it's another one of those shoot the messenger things because he is a polarizing figure in this league. And whenever he says something, some people kind of like, come on, LeBron, you're one of the leaders of this team. You kind of add to this as well. But let's see what happens at 33-21, fifth in the West. Opportunity to get to the third. They could probably make some noise if DeAndre Ayton wakes up and kind of plays dominantly. But let's see, they're quite average in quite a lot of the defensive stats as they go forward, and they need to definitely up that going into the playoffs. And of course, onto that last topic, and I think you're right to kind of bring it up. It's a perfect segue to where we at. The All-Star break. Kevin Durant making a statement where he said, you're talking about us, playing these All-Star games, and you have guys like Luka Doncic and Jokic, messing around, not taking the game seriously, and you over here worrying about us, not playing enough. Yeah, what do you continue your point? You were actually right there on that. What do you think about what we expect from this All-Star game tonight?
Nothing. I mean, it's the same old, same old. Let's go out there and play some pickup basketball for 48 minutes and whatever happens, happens. No one wants to get injured in the All-Star game. No one
Yeah.
wants to risk anything going to the back end of the NBA season, fighting for an NBA title. So, I mean, Anthony Edwards, he said it the perfect way. He said it is what it is.
Mm,
And they through the motions at this point. But I think it's unfair to fans coming in to watch a game because, I mean, tickets are not cheap, right?
no, that is
And,
all.
I mean, not everyone coming to an NBA game, I mean, has it like that. You have some people that saving up for the entire from last year
Mm-hmm,
to
mm-hmm.
get the funds to say, you know what, I witnessed an all-star game, and then you come and you don't get your money's worth. Shooting contest. I mean, well, the shooting contest for this year was exciting with being
Yep,
a leader. Apart from that, I mean, you don't get your money's worth. The dunk contest is crap. The
absolutely.
all-star crap. So I mean, so what is this about now? And to be fair to the NBA commissioner, Adam Silver, he has done everything since he is in the post
Mm-hmm.
to try more eyes, more everything to the All-Star game. He has tried everything. This year we'll see him USA versus the world. What else can be done to fix the All-Star game?
Mm.
I mean, at this point, I don't even think money can be the answer because they're really getting paid millions, and then they're getting paid even more for the NBA Cup.
Yeah,
What else? I mean,
I
you
think.
can't coach passion. That's one thing you can't do.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Honor is where you have Michael Jordan. That's why Jordan and your Kobe Bryant, those guys they would never stop ringing, never stop
Mm.
because those guys treated the All Star game like it was a must-win game to go to the playoffs. That's
Mm.
how they treat. I mean, and players now don't see the interest. They don't see the level of interest in it. So it's just another glorified pickup game.
Pickup game. But it's interesting that you say that in terms of the older guy saying that because Kevin Durant will go against what you said. He said he spent some time looking at All-Star game footage from on YouTube from like the 60s to the 90s, and he just can't understand what the older guys are talking about in terms of intensity that was never there in the All-Star game. And I think Kevin Durant is a little bit mistaken. And yes, it's true. It is a pickup game. Guys don't want to get injured. You're not going to see playoff intensity defense, but guys try. And especially in the third and fourth quarters, when you see the games are close, you start to see a little bit of defense. You don't see guys laying down on the court because a dunker is coming through the zone. You don't see guys just the Red Sea just parting, allowing guys to lay up and everything, and just jump shot after jump shot and 3-pointer after 3-pointer, half court shots being taken. That was never a thing in the NBA All Star game. And yes, so we can't necessarily say in the 80s or the 90s it was so much better competitively, but there was a little more pride being taken. But Victor Wembanyama, to his credit, he's made it very clear he's going to go into the locker room tonight and try to enthuse some energy into his world team. And he's thinking that if you're going to give it, if you bring that energy, you'll probably get it back. And let's see if he's going to be right with that, because I think he definitely wants. Even last season, I think when he was in for the last All Star game when he played, was it last year or the year before? He tried to play with some energy, and you could see people were looking at him like, dude, what's up with you? It's let's take it easy sort of thing. But it's like, no, he wants to play hard. Cade Cunningham said the same thing. He wants to play hard, and he would actually prefer the game go back to East and West. I think Jamal Murray, our Jamaican roots guy, said the same thing. He would prefer if it was just the original format of the game. All of these changes have just shown that it's there's just too many problems. And even Kevin Durant, coming back to what he said about, oh, he went back to the 60s and the 90s and everything to look at games. If you have to go so far back to look for a justification for you not playing good, you have a problem, Kevin Durant. You don't need to look at it. Account for you playing on the court. Account for you people thinking about how you play. Forget about what happened in the past. We're all asking for the energy, and let's see you bring it tonight.
And I would just to touch back on the point of Wemby.
Mm-hmm.
Numbers on Wemby's side when if he's planning to do that. He's too young.
All right. Mm.
Who who is going to listen to him in that locker room? Those other all stars. Remember, you're not speaking to the San Antonio Spurs now.
Mm.
Speaking to a room filled with all stars who probably everyone in that room have accomplished more than you.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
What are you going to say that will trigger me to say, you know what, yeah, let's go Wemby? No, so I think it's age. I think the
But
big factor there is
but the thing is, let's remember he's not on an American team. He's not with these guys who are Anthony Edwards, who would be like, oh, like come on, man, let's take it easy. He's going to be on a world team who have the bulletin board material of Kevin Durant calling out Luka Doncic and Jokic. They're probably going to use that as motivation and energy for tonight. So we don't know, let's see. And I think people recognize within that locker room and in the NBA that he is definitely the face moving forward. So they might take his word for it.
good point. Good point. I accept your point. But I know a
Mhm.
player in LeBron who I think is going to tell Luka Doncic, listen, you
Mm.
slow down. Just slow down.
We
Just
have
take it.
we have a season to worry about. Mm.
Denver Nuggets team that is going to tell Nikola Jokic,
Take it easy.
we are right there in the West. Yeah? Let's
Mm.
just, I don't think the guys will listen to that. And I probably think for the last probably 5 minutes in the fourth quarter, they'll turn up and put on
Mm.
a show but not the entire. Don't see that up.
So who do you think takes it tonight, and who do you think is MVP?
Good one. Um, let me go East.
Okay, East. Well, remember two USA teams, and there's an old head team, there's a young guy team, and there's a world team.
Yeah, let me go. When I said let me go Team USA and
Right?
let me go with KD.
KD. You think KD is going to come and try to back up his talk? All right. That's interesting. I Yeah. Say what you're saying. Sorry, I think I cut you off there.
And Kevin Durant.
Team USA and Kevin Durant. I think the old heads have a little bit of proving to do, and I think KD will probably come out and play really hard. But you know who I think who's definitely gonna the All-Star MVP is gonna be definitely if the world wins. I think Wembanyama gets it. I think he will come out and try and prove himself. But I actually think the older guys might win this, and I'll give. I think I might agree with you. I think Kevin Durant might want to come out. Kevin Durant is a massive troll. Anyone who knows Kevin Durant on social media, he's a huge troll. He has these cream adverts now he has out where he's calling out people for making fun of his ashy legs, and he's taking it to a next level in the marketing. He's an absolute troll, and I think he might want to come out tonight and kind of try to shut some people up. He's like, hey, listen, these older guys are not better than us. And we still have a lot of juice in these old legs who could kind of run circles around some of these young guys and these guys from Europe, as he likes to call them, these European guys. So yeah, let's see what happens tonight. It's going to be very interesting. And yeah, we're going to end off the episode here tonight. This is a really short and snappy episode tonight. Covering some really heavy topics in the league so far. And yeah, we have the All-Star game tonight. Let's see who comes out. So far, it's been atrocious. I think from the slam dunk point of view and everything. Adam Silver has a lot of thinking to do. I think he's already come out and said tanking is the worst it's been this year. Everything. Mac McClung, the three-time champion who was signed by the Bulls. I think they really signed him to participate in the dunk contest. He said, I'll say this to end the episode. He said he did not participate in the dunk contest this year because some of the stars said they would not participate if he was in it as a G leaguer. They were afraid of him. If you as a star think you could have done better than him, come and prove him wrong and come and dunk against him. They didn't. He stepped back to give them a chance, and they didn't. Anyway, in the less than a minute that we have left, thanks again, Orion, as usual. We're going to see what happens tonight, and of course, follow us as we move on. Episode 13 coming to the end right now, and we'll see you into next week. Episode 14 coming right up. Baseline to Baseline with Alistair and Orion. YouTube, Facebook, everything, all socials. Go check it out, and we shall catch you next time. All right, Orion, catch you next time, man.
From the hardwood floor to the spotlight glow, breaking down the stats every fan should know. Trace, place, legends in the making. Every headline, no mistaking. Fast breaks, crossovers, highlight reels. What's real strategy, what's hype and feels. East to west, we call it straight. From draft night buzz to finals fade. Baseline to baseline, we cover it all. Big plays, bold takes, the rise and the fall. Baseline to baseline, where passion is prime.